Hello, everyone. Today's episode is sponsored by Dynasty Athletic Performance and North Carolina Football Connections. Welcome to the All Season 365 podcast. Be sure to follow us on X, YouTube, and Spotify. Today, we have a special guest. We have Coach Charlie Jackson, head football coach at Christ the King High School in Huntersville, North Carolina. Coach Jackson, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for making time to hop on the call. You're a very busy man, so I appreciate you for making time to talk a little bit of defense for us today.
Yes, sir. Excited. That opportunity. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. So before we get into the 3-3-5 stack defense, give our listeners a quick look at your coaching journey up until this point.
Yeah, so I'm from Southwest Virginia. Played at public school there right by Virginia Tech. Played college football at East Tennessee State. Wasn't really in the coaching sphere or anything like that. Moved to the Charlotte area. Had a connection at Christ the King 3 years ago, DB coach. Last 2 years ago, I took over as the defensive coordinator. And then head coaching changed, and I took over as the head coach. So it's been a quick ascent for me, and I'm learning. I mean, my head is spinning every day still, learning from all these other coaches with a lot more experience and everything like that. But it's been an awesome ride so far. I have an opportunity to coach with a couple guys that I played with in college on the defensive side of the ball, and really just enjoy it, man. It's one of those things. I got out there the first time, and I was like, oh, man, my wife may not like it, but I'm going to be doing this a long time, I think.
Yeah, that's always, those are some of the best years, coaching, getting a chance to work with people that you personally know and you came up with, so congratulations to you and your staff for the time that you put into this game.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and get to it, Coach, on the 3-3-5 stack defense. Go ahead and pull this up. The floor is yours. I'll go ahead and start it, and here we go.
Yeah, so overall consensus that myself and the head coach before me, Coach Brian Decker, had a couple years ago in designing like what's going to work for us. We're a 2A high school. Depth and bodies and size is a challenge. I swear every single kid on our team is between 5'10", 6'2", and 165 to 185 pounds. So a lot of them going both ways. That just led us to the point of where can we get as many of our athletes on the field at one time and possibly come up with a scheme that matches our school and doesn't let some of these bigger, maybe sometimes more physical teams just lean on us. And we felt that this defense gave us that opportunity. Outside of the two corners, I mean, maybe the D linemen, outside linebackers, in some cases, when we get off the bus, you may not be able to differentiate. They're all about the same size. It's kind of their hips and athleticism that helps determine whether their hands in the dirt or they're standing up. So that really just fit our school and the type of kids that we get in there. I also have really grown to like it, and I hear these from these other coaches, is you don't see it a ton. It's increasing in its popularity, but still in our conference, it's a lot of 4-2-5 to combat the modern day spread. You still get some 3-4 elements from a lot of these teams. In the stack, I've been told the offensive linemen, their angles are all different when they're trying to get to the same level, and that allows us and our smaller players to be high-level players where in other programs they may not just be big enough to do that. Nice. It does allow you to be multiple too. We'll get to it later, but this base look is really only symmetrical when the offense's formation is symmetrical. When they go in trips, we bump and slide and do a lot of this stuff. It doesn't always look like that stack. It can be multiple. We can even spin down. I always like to have one of the backers be a bigger linebacker, and right before the play, we can stem into almost a 4-2-5 look with that added D-end who's kind of that stand-up D-end. So I like the multiplicity of it. I like the fact that it's kind of uncommon, and I also like that the kids, it's pretty basic. Like as far as the appearance, right? It's like we teach our backers, you're stacked on the D lineman in front of you. We're worrying about 20, 10, 30 concepts as far as alignment with linebackers and stuff like that.
Nice.
When we got the blitz in this past year as well, it became pretty chaotic, I think, for people because we'd have a nose slanting all the way to one gap, backers blitzing right back into that gap. And like I kind of keep touching on the size aspect. Our smaller players were able to be pretty effective with this scheme, so it was good for us. Our first year running it, we were a senior-laden team, a lot of experience. We gave up, I think it was 12 points a game on the defensive side of the ball. This past year, we graduated a lot of kids. We're pretty young on defense, but that was still definitely the strength of our team. And we got a lot of compliments from other coaches on how hard and how fast our defense played. Nice. For us specifically, position by position, kind of what we're looking for, our DNs need to be tall, lengthy, and athletic. They are not, your pure pass rusher DNs. They're also not the kind of guys who are going to, take on a kick out block and just blow a play up. We have to play stuff with technique. We're going to spill almost everything. If you look at the defense, how we got what we call the whip and the nickel out there on the slot and the outside linebackers, our goal is to kick everything to the sideline, spill till the cows come home. And then our light, speedy guys often get to make plays versus the kick out downhill. And then we got too much weight coming right at us. Our nose every year is our best defensive lineman, especially in a zero technique where we typically have him. He's going to get doubled a lot. They're going to try to combo off of him. Our kid past year, he's coming back. He was a junior. Juan Casanova was just a monster in there, slanting, blitzing. He's not very big, but he's athletic and he's physical, and it gives those guards and centers a really tough time. And he doesn't make a ton of plays statistically. He doesn't make a ton of tackles, but that position's able to make a ton of plays by absorbing those guards and not allowing them in our Mike, Money, and Jack linebackers' face. As far as the Jack and Mike, they're as kind of traditional linebackers. I would say the Jack needs to be able to push into pass coverage maybe a little bit more than your 4-2-5 because there's not that box safety look there. Our Mike is all of 5'8", 150 pounds, and he's going to be a senior. I think he's got 300-plus tackles in his 3 years playing varsity football. A lot of that is his brain, but a lot of that is also, even at that size, he's clean. There's not a whole lot of alignment in his face. He's able to kind of flow B to B, make a lot of tackles in the interior. And to be honest, a lot of games, if you see after the game and play a good defensive game, it's because we didn't keep him clean. And people got to that second level and were able to go north and south on us instead of east and west. The whip and the nickel, they need to be athletic. Those guys, if you see, we press the slot. I believe in that. And the reason that we like to do that at the high school level is, to be honest, with high school quarterbacks, a lot of them, I'm going to have to see it.
Yep.
We're not going to give you bubbles. We're not going to give you little access throws to let you march down the field. If you look at the weakness on this alignment right here, those seam shots are there. And we get hit on them sometimes. But in my 3 years of coaching, there's only been one or two guys who consistently for 4 quarters can hit that whole shot and march down the field and beat you. Yeah, so we like to get hands on too, be real physical, take away bubble and stuff like that. It also allows that Money, Jack, those D linemen, the linebacker, they're not even worried about bubble. They're playing whatever that run action is. And teams don't even try to bubble us. If they screen, it'll normally be to number 1 with number 2 kind of blocking. But I want to make things as hard as possible. I was a quarterback in high school. That's what I initially got recruited in college to. And I always think, what would I come to the line of scrimmage and be like, dang, I can't take that throw that I want, that easy 5 to 7 yards. I'm going to have to make a throw. And then if they do, you say the ball down and let's see if you can do it again and again and again. As far as the money backer, that is the star. Every defense kind of has one of those nowadays. You'll see when we go to the too high look. This is our best player. 2 years ago, he's up in Middlebury. Last year, Brennan Wallace was our guy. He was awesome. He's going to go to Shenandoah next year and play. He may blitz one play, He's going to push a curl hook another play. He's going to fit up a run another play. And on third and long pass situations, he's our too high safety look in middle third, outside third, deep half, all sorts of that. We put our best athlete there because we feel like it puts him around the football the most. Corners are there's nothing particular about the corners, in my opinion, in this defense. We play a lot of zone. We play a lot of man. Safety is another guy that makes the defense. Those hole shots we talked about, they became tough this year because we had a really good safety back there, a rangy safety who was number to number playing back there. And that, I think he had 7 interceptions this year because that quarterback thinks he looks off. He's got the range to come back to that other seam. He's an alley filler. Our guy made a lot of tackles, but the defense being spilled out, a lot of times it's not your traditional whip and nickel, force it in, and then he's going to run kind of the hashes and make tackles. He's not as required to be in our run game the way that we have it designed in this stack right here. But that's our very generic doubles alignment right here. We get trips. That allows us to do a couple things. It kind of depends on the team that we're getting out of the offense. If we get trips here, a lot of times we'd have our money apex 3 in the end on the line, the jack and the mic in 20s on those guards, and then you can bring the whip off the edge, bring pressure, kind of looks like a 4-man front. Sometimes when teams like to put that guy backside for those one-on-ones, we played Braylon Clark from Charlotte Country Day, and I did not want him one-on-one with anybody. We had our whip hover in that area all game. And to be completely candid, it didn't matter because Braylon is Braylon. He made a lot of plays on us, but when that situation came, we did have at least a schematical answer, which was let overhang backside. You can also pull them all the way back and invert your front side for a safety look. So everything that I'm saying has this appearance of being complex, but for the kids, it's just kind of bumping left or right, and our team can largely stay the same, but we give a different look to the offense. If you want to bump to the next slide, a lot of what I talked about was kind of just the general principles, run game, everything like that. In the stack, the previous slide, we like to have our linemen 2-gap and just play blocks. We want guys to be free, and our ends are B and C gap. We'll have them line up in a 5-pass setting, but we're going to try to play 4s and 2-gap. And then the stack backer's job is just to kind of make them correct. If that end gets pushed in C, then that backer's filling B. One of them is going to end up in one of the A's, the Mike in the other. And we feel like that allows them just to play ball a little bit. When we get some of these pass-heavy teams, or a quarterback can make that throw, that seam throw, this is kind of that look that we'll go to. We call it duos, our too high look. And if you notice the whip and the nickel out there on the slot, we're going to play inside leverage now. And the reason being is they can kind of end up being our C-gap players. Our ends can bump into 4s or even 4 guys if we're really getting beat. They are B-gap players. And then the Mike, Jack, and Nose are kind of 3 for 2 in those A gaps and then flowing and fitting from there. I feel like we can still play bubble from here. It's not as good as outside leverage, but that whip and nickel can still chase that bubble of our seam and anything like that. And from a coverage perspective, it's tough to do a whole lot out of that. It's a lot of times going to be cover 3 or 1 high man. The 2 high look, we've done inverted cover 2s. We've done typical cloud coverage. We've in 3, strong or weak in for Braylon Clark. Sally Christian had a kid this year who was tearing everybody up. We spun every coverage to him with the corner kind of playing man on him. I think he had one ball even thrown his way all game. We were able to get him out a little bit. So as you see, it was one kind of shift over, and this is not necessarily your 3-3 stack, but it's kind of still your 3-3-5 defense. It's very multiple, but still very simple, and our kids get it quick. Like second week of camp, we have most of our defense installed, and it's kind of game to game. Last is we've done this before. Some teams, we want them to run the ball. A lot of times, your offensive coordinator is looking at that box right there, that proverbial 5-man box, and he's thinking he's going to run on that all day. And we've had success with kind of coaxing you into the run a little bit when we feel like we're better than you are up front. We'll invite that run. You think it's a 5-man box. We'll play it kind of like a 7-8-man box with that money backer tucked in 7-8 yards. And we've had good success and gotten some people out of their comfort zone. As far as other fronts, we actually played a lot of 4-man this year. We played a little bit of 4-2-5 and stuff like that. When teams go to the 3-back scenarios, the whip and nickel, we can play bear. We can bump those ends down into 3s, have the whip and nickels as stand-up. We will mug. We can do all sorts of that stuff because obviously in high school, it's not like college where everybody's running this spread or the go-go offense or all this. In high school football, you get windy one play, you get empty the next play. So you got to be able to kind of pull and play with all of it. And we have checks that we feel like we can make for all of that in this defense. So that's kind of just me going over the basics and the thought process of what makes us at Christ the King, I feel like, be successful with this defense with our personnel. I don't know if you have any questions or anything like that.
Yeah, job well done, Coach. And again, like we talked about a little bit before we went live. There's a lot of coaches that have a lot of questions about odd man defenses, and they are afraid of the very complicated perception of multiple athletes moving around. So I personally think you did a good job of simplifying it and explaining it to have answers versus most offenses. But before I let you go, Coach, let me ask you this. For coaches looking to install the 3-3-5 stack defense, what key advice would you offer them?
I would say make sure that scheme aligns with the bodies that you have walking in your hallways and the offenses that you're going to see on most Friday nights. It's not going to be an answer to every single offense that you're going to see. But if you've got some bigger guys that maybe don't move as well, I don't know that it's the defense for you. If you're like us and you got a lot of smaller, skinnier bodies, maybe lack the strength and sometimes north and south physicality, but they can run, I highly advise doing it. You can be multiple, physical, and chaotic for some offenses on Friday nights.
Fantastic answer, Coach. Well, thank you for listening to the Offseason 365 podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm Coach Simmons here with Coach Jackson, and we signing off.